the organizers, ladies and gentlemen, wish you all a good morning. I like an audience that speaks back. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
A louder one. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you. Now, I was asked to say something about myself. As the introduction goes there, I'm Nabila Siddiqui. I was born in the Middle East in Saudi Arabia and was very young when I went to Ghana, West Africa. Stayed there for 6 years, did my nursery school from there, and then moved on to Nigeria with my parents. I owe a lot to Nigeria, the country in West Africa, where I spent a lot of my time, my youth. I learned a lot of things from there, right from my nursery to primary to secondary, and then went on to university. But life was not so smooth as it goes. I was not a brilliant student, I will admit, at least not initially. You know how it goes, everyone going into sciences, so I alone decided to go into the sciences subjects. But along the way I realized that was not my field. After 2 years of struggle, I just had to walk up to my dad and say, Dad, I can't do biology, I can't do mathematics, I'm lost, and I was. So we decided to change subjects and went into the humanities. And I had to study at home for 2 years because no school was ready to take me in that late in secondary. So I started studying with home tuitions, economics, history, and literature, and sat for the GCE O-level examination. The first time it was a failure. I was very upset. And you know how the sibling jealousy comes in, your brothers and sisters telling you, your friends telling you that you're no good, you can't go ahead. But my dad had all the faith and he said, no, Nabila, you're going to try again. And that's when I did a second time my O-levels. And I excelled. I wouldn't say I excelled, but I did quite well. But I didn't do well in maths. And one of the requirements to enter university was you should have a credit in both language and mathematics. However, we went, because I had a good grade in literature and language, the university decided to take an exceptional case and took me in. I think that was where the right path came in front. Once I got the right route into university, I was able to progress well. And it was amazing even for myself that I actually excelled in English literature. And what was even more amazing was I was awarded the Head of State Award for being the best student in English literature. I think that was what boosted my morale at that time. And for the next 4 years, I made a point to get that award and show it back to my friends that I could do it just like you can. So I graduated in 1991 from Bayreuth University, where I did my bachelor's. And because I was a brilliant student, I was given admission into my master's even before the final results were out. And that's when I completed, in 1993, I completed my master's from Bayreuth University. Things changed then, and I got married in 1992. I got married to a gentleman here in Uganda, an Indian gentleman who had been staying in Uganda. So I had to move over and ask him for special permission because I wanted to go back to Nigeria and finish my master's, which I did. I got married. When I came back in 1993, I needed to now sit down and see what would I do here in Uganda. I applied at Makerere University because I was specialized in literature, and I felt that definitely they would take me in. But no, I had to prove myself. Being a literature student and a brilliant one in Nigeria didn't prove that I was a brilliant person in Uganda. And unfortunately, I had to, after several interviews and all, I realized that things were not going to work that way. And that's when I came against this quotation, that a negative thinker sees a difficulty in every opportunity, and I needed to be positive because a positive thinker sees an opportunity in every difficulty. At that time, the Aga Khan Education Services were giving out openings, and I applied there. They took me in just because they liked the way I spoke, not because I had the qualification to teach in a primary school. And I was asked to teach primary 1. Now there I was, who was lecturing part-time in Bayer University, Kano, with the adults, dealing with them in literature, African literature for that matter, and I'm suddenly given a class of 5 or 6-year-olds and I had to teach them. I was lost. But then I started doing a lot of research and I realized this was something that would bring in a lot of interest. And I realized at that point there are 2 types of teachers. There's the teacher who is made and trained by man, but there is that inborn, natural gifted teacher, and I was very proud when my head teacher said, "You are the one." I still taught there for about 6 years, and I had a little daughter at that time, a much needed daughter, a daughter we all looked forward to. But the workload in Aga Khan, teaching an examination class at that time of primary 7, was too taxing for myself. So I resigned from there and said, I can't sit at home, I need to do something. And that's when I decided to open my own little playgroup, a kindergarten, where I could sit down and look, take care of other children, at the same time have my little daughter with me. So I must say my little daughter was an inspiration for me to start a small playgroup of my own. We started off with 6 children, 7 children, 8 children. They trickled in slowly, but parents realized that what we were doing was really bringing in a child-centered approach, which was very different from what was being used in other Ugandan schools. And within no time, I realized that the reason why I wanted to start the playgroup was to be with my daughter and give her enough time, but I didn't have enough time because I had so much pressure from different parents, I just had to open up another branch. So from the Bukoto branch, I decided to open up a second branch, the Naguru branch, all falling under Daffodil's Education Services. Now here we decided that we should bring in an opportunity for children to have a playway method where they're totally being interactive, they are playing all the time, they're learning all the sounds through the playway method. And I've introduced the Little Land, which is a British concept, but because it had a lot of stories that were culturally oriented, we needed to bring down the stories down to our Ugandan level where children could associate with the stories. They had interesting sessions, and I could see parents getting totally involved in the learning process of their children. It's after this, when parents pushed us, they said they needed to have a continuous education in the same methodology for their children, that we went in for a primary school, which is now known as Daffodil's Primary School in Kololo. At this time, I had the total support of my husband, I must say, because without him, I would not be here. And as you can see, there is that famous saying, behind every successful man, there is a woman. But in my case, I would very proudly say, behind this successful woman is a man, my husband. Thank you, Usman, for always supporting me. The primary education brought in a lot of challenges for myself. I had to train teachers along the way, but I must say I had a very good team. Over the years, I've been able to train a whole lot of Ugandan young ladies and a few gentlemen who have worked with me closely to build this school and make it what it is today. So if I'm only able to take limited children, I can very proudly say we have a very long waiting list, which unfortunately we're not able to cope up with. In the primary education, we followed up with the same child-centered approach where children are involved and learning at the same time. We brought in other cross-curricular activities to ensure that children are going out of the primary education when they are all-rounders and will enable themselves to acquire various skills and see what interests them along the way. Now, one most important thing, I must say, the most fulfilling thing I've had with being with little ones is learning to take satisfaction in what is within you. We need not always look at things very seriously. We should look at things from the eyes of the little ones. And I'm just going to ask you, I want everyone here, can you all stand up? Stand up, everyone. Sit down. Stand up. Sit down. I can see children you're not following my instruction, and a 5-year-olds follow my instruction. Now I'm going to give you a little activity. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the door, point to yourself. Oh dear, people are pointing all over the place. And my 5-year-olds have better listening skills. Are we ready? Let's try it again. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the door, point to yourself, point to your ear, pull it hard, fingers on your lap. Can you see? It's an interesting activity and you enjoy it once you're getting yourself down to the level of your little ones. Now we'll all sing this song if you're happy and and I know you can all of you stand up. Everyone. Are we ready? And I want you to sing with me. If you're happy and clap your hands. If you're happy and clap your hands. Let's start again loudly now and you sing together. If you're happy and clap your hands. If you're happy and clap your hands. If you're happy and and you really want to show that you're happy and
clap your hands.
If you're happy and stamp your feet. If you're happy and stamp your feet. If you're happy and and you really want to show that you're happy and stamp your feet. If you're happy and say I am.
I am.
If you're happy and say I am.
I am.
If you're happy and and you really want to show that you're happy and say I am.
I am.
Wow, good. Everyone sit down. Just by bringing in a little liveliness within yourself, you feel good, and at the end you should say, I am. To conclude, I would like to say we should all, each one of us here, stop saying I wish, and you should start saying I will. Have the confidence that you will do it, and indeed you will. So can we all say I will?